Oh boy, we're having some frames per second issues. I think it has to do with the fact that I am updating and upgrading. So deal with that for me because I can't wait any longer. Look at this. So on Google Earth, they have the 1938 satellite imagery with all the sand. Okay, so all this sand, which has no explanation. There's nothing in the historical narrative that we were told about explains all this sand. Now, what we do have is they tell us there was a 1906 earthquake and fire, and that earthquake and fire was supposed to be responsible for where'd it go? Not that. We'll get to these in a moment. This one. This is what they told us the aftermath of the earthquake and fire was. Alright, now, as hard as that is to believe, because, there's like, as far as the eye can see, there's a gigantic swath of city blocks that are wiped clean. No buildings at all, nothing, no debris, nothing. Just so. But anyway, the story we were told is that was caused by an earthquake and a fire. Okay, but someone left a comment recently telling me that this sand was, that I'm an idiot. This sand was a tsunami, and they even have tsunami sirens. You idiot. And I'm like, well, okay, well, hey, what the hell? Tsunami is what I have been suggesting is the cause for all this sand. But let's think about this for a minute. This wouldn't be your average run-of-the-mill tsunami, right? If it's leaving sand and a thick layer of it, and this far inland, sand, even out here, sand, that's, even out here, there's, looks like sand, right? See the same thing, sand. Even a little house right here, the building sticking out of the sand. How interesting. Right? Look at this, all sand still. So for a tsunami to leave that much sand, it would be a biblical event. Something that would be in our historical narrative. But, and tsunamis usually are just water. It's not usually a tsunami of sand. Tsunami of, like a wave comes, and then, like the one that happened in Japan like 10 years ago. The wave came, but it didn't leave. It didn't turn Japan into a beach. It the debris that tsunamis leave behind are usually the debris of the destroyed shit, like the buildings and stuff that destroyed. All right, now check this out. If we zoom in here and then go to the next date, which is 1946. we see evidence of them doing some cleanup. Look at that. So, hella sand, and then cleaning some up. Getting that sand out of the way. Let's go to another area and do the same thing. This thing was really strange to me, but let's check out this area. Go ahead. Here's 1938 and then 1946. Let's go back to 38 again. So all this area right here is covered in sand. Okay, 8 years later, and voila. Now there's still a lot of sand here, but there's buildings that were under that sand, obviously. They didn't build these buildings in that time, right? Obviously they didn't build those buildings. There's still a bunch of sand there that isn't cleaned up yet. This street is still not clear. But 8 years earlier, the street, you couldn't even tell there was a street there, really. Right? And then all of a sudden we're expected to believe that some contractors or land developers came and decided to build a bunch of buildings before they were done clearing the sand out of the street. Forget about it. Give me a break. That's not at all what happened. This is evidence that the biblical Great Flood was a much more advanced civilization than we ever were led to believe it was, and it's one and the same as the Atlantis legend. There's nothing new under the sun. We are not the most advanced we've ever been today, and we are re-inhabiting the same cities and buildings many times that the last civilization that got wiped out built. For example, a building like City Hall is obviously way too ornate, elaborate, and decadent for our government to be rubbing in our face at how lavishly that they're living on our backs, on our tax dollars. Like, they're not supposed to be showing off how much they're wasting our hard-earned money. But this is very strange right here. This looks like this today, or actually, no. It looks like this, and there's like, I'm gonna go ride my bike over here today to come check this area out, because they deliberately have it hidden. They got these trees all around it, and it's uphill a ways. I remember I've been to this area right here. I thought it was like a park, and then I didn't know there was all this hidden in there. And they're calling this a reservoir, but what reservoir do you know of that's like a hill? Reservoirs aren't usually hills, and where's the water if that's a reservoir? So this is trippy. I want to go check that out later on, but let's also show you something else. So this in 1938 shows the sand like that, and then in 1946, of course, it's less sand. But even here, the sand doesn't stretch to the other side of the park here. But right here it says United Railroads construction crew pushing the Fulton Street. So if we go back to here, and this is Fulton Street right here. This one, I guess, right there, Fulton Street. So that picture is them pushing sand out of that street, and the sand goes further that way. So that means the sand was even a lot worse than it looks here. At one point, it was covering all of this in a really thick layer. Like, look how thick that looks. Look how far down they have to go. You know, that's a lot of sand. Uh, uh, and there's nothing in the narrative that we were told that would explain this at all. So it's definitely mud flood related. Now, let me show you this. Okay, now this is really tripping me out because this is showing the Golden Gate Park, and here let's. Okay, but Golden Gate Park, where are we? Golden Gate Park is oriented east to west. So here's the coastline, and here's that track that we're seeing here, but look how it's oriented. Like, unless that's not water, because it does look like there's land right here. Huh. Interesting. Whatever the case may be, it looks kind of trippy because like there's nothing that would look like water here, and so that might be a Mandela effect. But look at some of these pictures that show just sand all over the place, covering buildings and streets. Look at all that. And this picture's good. It shows buildings and structures that are buried. See, like buried stuff shit right there? Because it looks just like what we're seeing in the Bahamas. Right here. I know you've probably already seen this if you watch my channel. But doesn't it look just like the building structures that are here? As soon as I get internet back. So come on. These structures right here. Looks like identical to that. There's houses buried under there, obviously, and same thing here. We got houses under here, and some of them are even showing out of the sand. All right. I really don't need to keep beating this point anymore, do I? Because it's pretty obvious at this point that there's buried structures and some type of calamity that we haven't been told about in our in history class. Obviously, we've been lied to, right? So the new heaven and the new earth is the book Revelations 21:1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. All right, and can you? So that was the Bible. This is the law of one, talking about harvest. Can you say anything about the coming planetary changes? The changes are very, very trivial. We do not concern ourselves with the conditions that bring about harvest. And then oh wow. Okay, let's forget about that. But I'm an Aries. Okay, Aries is cardinal fire. Aries is a catalyst, a firebrand that inspires others by being totally committed to his or her own vision. Cardinal fire is a raw force, and it's sometimes so powerful it leads to blowback. Cardinal, okay, so, and then Aries fits perfectly in its position as the first sign of the zodiac, having the most active quality, cardinal, and the fastest element, fire. So my whole life, people have been telling me to slow down, and then some people think it's just because I'm a drug addict or a tweaker, and even though I'm guilty as charged, many oftentimes, people would call me that anyway because I act like that anyway, because I have the most active quality, cardinal, and the fastest element, fire. So fast and active, and a catalyst, a firebrand, inspires others by being totally committed to his or her own vision. So hard-headed. All right, and fire signs are known for being passionate and action-oriented. Fire signs are the most idealistic and enthusiastic. Alright, so anyway, I am an Aries through and through. Even the not so positive traits, I'm guilty as charged. Uh, um, okay. And then you know how a ram's horns are curled, like they're not curled like this, but uh, anyway, like a ram's horn is curled the same way my hair is. Like I look like a ram, and Aries, yeah. So I'm just an Aries through and through, and that's why I'm always stressing, you know, positivity, and I'm always, I'm a leader. I'm at the cutting edge of stuff. So my channel is like almost entirely new discoveries that I found, and you know, and yeah. So that that's why I am the way I am, because there is a reason for it other than insanity and drugs. Um, all right, let me know what you think down below. When did I push that down?